Money does not come first. Faith does. If you wait for money to feel safe, you will never feel safe. Listen carefully. God is the source. Jobs, clients, markets, and bank apps are only channels. Channels open and close. Source does not. When you tie your piece to a channel, you ride a roller coaster. When you tie your piece to source, you stand on rock. This is not theory. It is law. By divine law, what you believe and speak decides what your channels can carry. Think of a house and a light switch. Electricity is the source. The lamp is a channel. If the switch is off, shouting at the lamp does nothing. Faith is the switch. Words are the finger that flips it. You speak, then you see. Not the other way around. Many people do the reverse. They stare at the lamp, complain it is dark, and call that being realistic. That is not realism. That is training your life to copy your fear. Here is the truth a 10-year-old can grasp. Seeds come before fruit. If you want apples, you plant apple seeds. If you want financial peace, you plant words of supply. Your mouth is the garden. Every sentence is a seed. I never have enough, plants lack. My supply is steady and increasing by divine law. Plants increase. The soil does not argue. It grows what you plant. Faith is not noise. Faith is agreement. You agree with divine order, not with panic. You agree with source, not with headlines. You agree with what God says about provision, not with yesterday's invoice. When you agree, your words line up. When your words line up, your channels line up. A new client appears. A delayed payment clears. An idea lands that saves you 3 months of confusion. People call this luck. It is alignment. Let's make it simple. There are 2 voices inside any money moment. One voice is fear. It won't work. It's too late. Hold tight. Close your hand. The other voice is faith. God is my source. Channels are many. Flow is open. I am guided. The voice you answer becomes your ruler. Answer fear and you shrink your world. Answer faith and you enlarge your capacity. Fear trains you to see only what is missing. Faith trains you to see the door God already placed in the wall. Faith does not mean ignoring bills. It means refusing to give bills the final word. Faith does not mean pretending. It means choosing a higher fact. The higher fact is this: in divine mind, there is no shortage. Supply is not a mood. It is a law. When you speak from that law, you stop begging life and you start issuing orders. Not rude orders, lawful orders, clear, calm, clean. People say, I'll believe when I see money in my account. That is like saying, I'll plant seeds after I pick fruit. Life does not work that way. The spiritual pattern is consistent. Speak, step, then see. The sea parts after the step. The manna falls after the trust. The wall drops after the praise. Finance is no exception. The order never changes. You may ask, what if I'm scared? Fear is normal, but fear is not your leader. Give fear a seat, not the steering wheel. You lead fear with a sentence. One sentence can turn an atmosphere. Try this slowly, like a judge who means every word. By divine law, God is my source. Channels adjust to me. My line of supply is filled now under grace in perfect ways. Say it once with weight, not 100 times with worry. The law records tone, not panic. Guard your atmosphere. Poverty talk is contagious. If someone keeps speaking lack over your life, put a border around your ears. You do not have to fight them. Just step out of agreement. Agreement is the gate. Close the gate and the storm stays outside. Open the gate and the storm moves in. Choose your weather. Remember this picture: faucets and springs. A job, a client, a deal. These are faucets. The spring is underground, steady and pressurized. If one faucet breaks, you do not scream at the sink. You turn to the spring and open a different line. That is source, not equal channels. That is how calm people stay calm. They know where to look. Today you change one habit. You stop describing the lack and you start decreeing the law. Description reports the news. Decree writes the future. Description says it's hard. Decree says the way opens before me now. Description says I can't afford it. Decree says I pay in full, in perfect timing, under grace. Description keeps you where you are. Decree moves you to where you belong. Set your daily protocol. Morning, one clean decree, said once like a signature. Daytime, act like it's true, answer emails, make the call, send the invoice, tidy your books. Night, gratitude. Thank the source for invisible work already in motion. That's it. No begging, no bargaining, no rehearsing disasters. Calm expectation is your proof of faith. Hold this line. Money is not your master. It is your messenger. It carries your instruction into form. Give it clear instruction. Speak like someone who knows the spring is full. When your words stop shaking, your channels stop shaking. When your voice steadies, your life steadies. And when your life steadies, increase knows where to land. Scarcity doesn't live in your wallet, it lives in your mouth. If you change how you speak, you change what your channels can carry. Fear trains you to grab, hide, and shrink. Faith trains you to breathe, release, and expect. Fear stares at numbers and treats them like a judge's final sentence. Faith looks at the same numbers and treats them like a moment, not a verdict. One closes the gate, the other opens the flow. A child can see the difference. A closed hand cannot receive, an open hand can. Your words decide which hand you hold out to life. Here's the trap most people never notice. They think their words are just being honest. But honest scarcity talk is still a seed. The soil does not care if you meant it or you were stressed. It only grows what you plant. Sentences like, I can't afford it, money is hard, and it's always something with these bills are not updates. They are orders. Life is obedient. It follows the strongest voice in the room. Make sure the strongest voice is faith, not fear. Understand this with a simple picture. There are two dials inside you, like a radio. One dial is tuned to Fear FM, worry, complaint, worst case rehearsal. The other is tuned to Faith AM, calm orders, clean expectations, simple gratitude. You cannot listen to both at once. Every time you speak, you are turning a dial. Turn wisely. By divine law, your dial determines your station, and your station determines what reaches you. Let's install a practice any 10-year-old can use. It's called Notice, Name, Neutralize, Replace. Notice. Catch the sentence the moment it leaves your lips or forms in your head. Name. Say quietly, that's scarcity talk. Neutralize. Cancel it with no record, under grace. Replace. Issue one clean decree that you can actually stand behind. Example, instead of I can't afford it, say I'll pay in full in perfect timing under grace. Instead of money is hard, say my work is rewarded and my lines are filled now. Instead of it's always something, say unexpected costs return as unexpected credits. Simple, clear, lawful. Tone matters. The law records tone. Shaky words carry weak authority. You don't have to shout. You do have to mean it. Speak like a judge reading a ruling. Measured, steady, final. If your voice is tight, pause. Breathe in 4 counts, breathe out 6 counts, then speak. Calm breath is not magic. It is evidence that fear is not the boss. Set a border around your ears. Scarcity is contagious. If a room keeps repeating lack, step out of agreement. You can change the subject, change the room, or change your response. A simple shield sentence works. I'm not available for poverty talk. You don't need to argue or teach a class. Just refuse the agreement. Agreement is the door. Do not open it. Make a quiet ledger. It takes 2 minutes at night. Draw 2 columns. Left equals scarcity sentences I heard or said. Right equals my lawful replacements. Write 3 pairs. That's it. This little book becomes your private bank. Each replacement is a deposit. Over days, you will hear your own mouth get cleaner. Over weeks, your channels will respond because your signal is no longer scrambled. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer only reports the temperature. A thermostat sets it. Scarcity talk is a thermometer. It repeats the heat of the moment. Faith talk is a thermostat. It sets the climate of the room. Then the room adjusts. You are not forbidden to state facts. You are forbidden to crown them. State the fact, then state the law. The bill is due on Friday, and by divine law I pay on time, under grace. That "and" is where fear dies. People worry. If I stop saying I'm broke, am I lying? Number, you are not denying reality. You are declaring a higher reality. There is no lack in divine mind. You are choosing which court has jurisdiction over your money, the court of fear or the court of law. Choose law. In that court, you speak once. You seal and you walk on. You do not beg the judge. You file the order. End 3 habits today. First, stop forecasting disaster. That is free advertising for lack. Second, stop humor that insults your own supply. Jokes plant seeds, too. Third, stop asking, what if it all goes wrong? Replace it with, what if it all lines up? Train your imagination to work for you, not against you. Install 3 new habits. First, the 1-sentence rule. 1 decree in the morning, said once with weight. Second, the open hand move. Give something small each day. A kind tip, a helpful email, a warm introduction. Giving breaks the freeze of fear and proves to your own heart that the spring is still running. Third, the proof of faith action. Take 1 calm step that matches your decree. Send the proposal, tidy the invoice, follow up with grace. Faith is not a pose. It is posture plus steps. Guard your children's simple lines. If a child can't repeat it, it's too complicated. Use short forms. Source, not channels. I pay on time. My lines are filled. The way opens. These are like keys on a key ring. When pressure rises, you don't need a speech. You need a key. Here is a practical script you can keep. By divine law, God is my source. Channels adjust to me. I am calm, I am guided, and I am supplied, under grace in perfect ways. Say it slowly, then act like it's true. Check your accounts without dread. Answer the email you've avoided. Clear the small mess on your desk. Order loves order. When you put small things in order, large things arrive in order. Finally, remember the fastest way to starve scarcity. Talk is gratitude. Gratitude is not a sticker, it is a steering wheel. Thank the source for 3 specific things you already have and 1 thing that is forming. Name them. Feel the relief arrive. That relief is not laziness, it is proof that fear has lost the microphone. In that, quiet. Ideas can reach you, people can find you, and channels can reopen. You do not have to fight money. You have to lead it. Lead with your words. Retire the sentences that keep you small. Adopt the sentences that match your calling. Speak like a person who knows the spring is full and the line is moving. When your language grows up, your life follows, under grace, in perfect ways. Your mouth is not a microphone. It is a pen, and every sentence you speak about money writes a line in your life's ledger. The pattern never changes. You speak, then you see. If you wait to see before you speak, you jam the system. Think of a GPS. The route appears only after you set a destination. Your words set the destination. Your life follows the route you entered. There is a crucial difference between describing and decreeing. A description reports what stands in front of you. A decree instructs what must come. You are free to acknowledge a bill, a deadline, a slow week, but you are not free to crown them king. State the fact once and then give the order. By divine law, I pay in full, under grace, in perfect timing. Descriptions keep you parked where you are. Decrees move you. Money responds to jurisdiction. When you speak like a victim, your money hears a victim. When you speak like a steward under divine law, your money hears an officer. You do not need to shout. You do need to be sure. Read your decree like a judge reads a ruling. Measured, calm, final. The law records tone. A steady voice carries farther than a loud one. Before any money sentence leaves your lips, picture yourself signing a bank order. Would you sign what you are about to say? If not, don't speak it. Keep the language so simple a child could repeat it, and make sure it points to source, not to panic. This small pause turns wild emotion into clean authority, and clean authority opens channels. Build a small spoken ledger to anchor this. In the morning, write one line that sets your day. Divine substance fills my lines of supply now, under grace, in perfect ways. During the day, note one action that matches your decree. A sent invoice, a respectful follow-up, a tidy set of books. At night, record one piece of evidence, an email, a discount, a fresh idea, an unexpected credit. Decrees set direction, actions prove faith. Evidence trains your eyes to notice flow. Where attention goes, channels grow. Retire the sentences that keep you small. I can't afford it becomes, I choose timing, I pay in full under grace. Money is hard to make becomes, value flows to me for value given. Nothing ever works out for me becomes, things line up for me in perfect order. If you slip, do not panic. Say, no record. By divine law, I revoke that line and establish supply. Then repeat your clean decree once and move on. Scrubbing the page with worry only tears the paper. Treat words like tools, not alarms. A tool builds. I am a clear channel for fair profit. I serve well, and I am paid well. An alarm only screams. Everything is falling apart. Tools direct energy. Alarms drain it. Keep your tools ready and your alarms unplugged. Keep decrees short and standard, like a key that works many doors. 4 keys are enough to carry anywhere. Source, not channels. Lines filled now, under grace. I pay in full, on time. The way opens before me. Say them slowly, seal them, and then behave as if they carry legal weight, because they do. Guard your soundscape. The words you host become the weather you live in. If a room is soaked in poverty talk, step out of agreement without a fight. Change the subject, change the room, or calmly answer with a steady line. God is my source. Channels adjust. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer only reports the heat. A thermostat sets the climate, and the room adapts. Honor the order of creation. Word, work, wonder. First the word that sets direction, then the work, small, clean steps that match what you just said. Then the wonder, favor, timing, openings you could not plan. Many people grind at the work without a word and then demand a wonder. That is why they burn out. When the word comes first, work aligns and wonder has room to arrive. Speak from the result, not from the worry. If the debt were gone today, you would not groan at the payment page. You would speak plainly and pay without insulting your own supply. Practice this in the most ordinary places, the grocery line, the fuel pump, the rent screen. Look at the number without flinching, breathe, and lead with a sentence that keeps your crown. By divine law I pay in full, and what leaves returns multiplied under grace. Complete the action without sighs. Sighs are small prayers to lack. Save your breath for decree. Keep one table, one language in every money conversation you lead, home, team, client. No fear jokes, no doom rehearsals, no self-curses hiding behind humor. If someone slips, reset with a smile. No record. We speak increase here. This is not performance, it is maintenance. Clean language keeps clean lines. Measure your words by fruit, not by mood. If your money talk leaves you tight, it was the wrong talk. If it leaves you calm and clear, it was lawful. Calm is not laziness. Calm is authority at rest. Authority at rest is attractive. People trust it. Ideas land on it. Money stays with it. Write one last line in your ledger tonight and sign it like you mean it. The tongue writes the ledger. I write increase. My lines are filled now under grace in perfect ways. What you grip cannot grow. An open hand invites flow. A closed fist keeps only the little it holds. This is why release is not loss. Release is how you move your money from your small system into God's larger one. By divine law, what you place under grace multiplies. Think of a small lunch that fed a crowd. The increase did not begin while it was clutched. Increase began when it was placed into higher hands, blessed and shared. That is the pattern. Give, bless, distribute, and watch it expand beyond logic. The channel looked tiny. The source was not. It is the same with your coins, your time, your skill, even your attention. When you hold them in fear, they freeze. When you release them in trust, they breathe. Many wait for surplus before they give. That is like waiting for fruit before you plant the seed. The seed makes the orchard. The release makes the return. You do not give to impress people or to bargain with heaven. You give because you refuse to live as if lack is your ruler. You give to prove to your own heart that the spring is still running, even if one faucet turned off. Source is not equal to channels. Channels change. Source does not. Release under grace has a sound and a posture. It is calm, clean, and chosen. Guilt has no place in it. Pressure has no place in it. You listen inwardly. You set the amount or the act with a steady mind, and you let it go with a blessing. When the motive is fear, the energy jams. When the motive is trust, the line clears. The law records tone. This applies to more than money. Some of you must release the worry that sits on your chest every evening when you open your banking app. Some must let go of the identity that calls itself the broke one, or the one who never catches a break. Some must surrender the habit of control that tries to force timing and crushes joy. These are heavy objects. Place them on the altar by words as simple as a child can say, I release this under grace. I will not carry what the source has already taken. You are not throwing things into the air and hoping. You are moving them into jurisdiction, out of fear's court and into law's court. In that court, circulation rules. Water left to sit becomes stale. Water that moves stays clear. Money that never leaves your hand begins to rot the hand. Money that circulates by wisdom returns with friends. It does not always rush back the same hour or through the same door, but it returns with increase because it left with a blessing. Start where you are. Pay the invoice with dignity instead of size. Add a kind tip when fear tells you to pinch. Give an hour to help someone solve a problem you once had. Send a note that opens a door for another person's work. None of these acts make you smaller. They make your world wider. Heaven counts them as seed. People call it goodwill. The law calls it set up for harvest. Do not be tricked by size. A little oil became many jars of provision. A tiny idea can become a month of clear revenue. A short message can restore a sleeping client. Small in your hand can be large in God's system. When you release what is small with faith, you admit you are a steward, not a beggar, and stewards are never abandoned. Owners panic because they think everything depends on them. Stewards rest because they know everything depends on order. Order this moment with a sentence that carries weight. By divine law, I release under grace. What leaves me for right purpose returns multiplied in perfect ways. Then behave like someone who believes it. Stop hunting for proof every 5 minutes. Calm expectation is proof enough. Calm is not laziness. Calm is authority at rest. Fear will try to shout, "What if you give and nothing comes back?" Answer with a better question. What if I trust and the line finally opens? Fear will say, hold everything. Wisdom will say, hold your center. Let the flow move. Fear counts only what leaves. Faith counts what returns, including ideas, timing, favor, and strength. Not all increase is $1 on day one. Sometimes the first return is peace, and peace makes room for all the rest. Release also changes how you see deadlines. Instead of bowing to dates like they are kings, you treat them as appointments you will keep with grace. You do your part, honest work, clear books, proper follow-up, and you let the law do its part. Ravens, widows, water from rock, these are pictures to remind you that channels are many. You are not trapped, you are guided. If someone has used guilt to twist your giving, take your gift back in your heart and bless it again with clean intention. Control breaks the circuit. Cheerful trust completes it. You are free to say no when an ask does not match your spirit. Saying no with peace honors the law as much as saying yes. Release is not random pouring. It is guided circulation. Make a simple rhythm and keep it humane. When increase touches your hand, you bless it, you portion it, you pass some forward, and you keep some in good order. You do not punish yourself for eating from your harvest. You are allowed to enjoy clean gain. Joy is not a sin. It is proof that fear is not your master. Do not forget to release thanklessness. Gratitude is oil in the gears. It softens your voice and speeds your steps. Thank the source for what left you to bless others. Thank the source for what came back, even if it was only a small sign today. The thankful heart notices doors that a bitter heart walks past. Understand what happens in the unseen when you live this way. You are telling life, I trust the spring. Life answers, then more lines can attach to you. People feel the safety of your field. They prefer to work with you. They pay on time because your tone invites order. They refer you because your presence brings ease. This is not charm. This is spiritual gravity created by lawful release. Write this truth on the inside of your day. I am not emptying myself. I am enlarging my capacity. I am not losing. I am making room. I am not gambling. I am agreeing with the way things grow, under grace, in perfect ways. And when the return comes, sometimes softly, sometimes like a flood, you will recognize it without surprise. You will say, of course, this is how the law moves, and you will release again because multiplication is not a moment, it is a way of life. Alignment is not effort. Alignment is agreement. When your inner world and your outer moves say the same thing, the line opens. Most people pray for increase while rehearsing loss, ask for new doors while speaking like prisoners, want peace while feeding panic. That split is why the circuit sparks and then dies. By divine law, mixed orders do not move freight. A train needs one track. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your quiet expectation must ride the same line. Begin where the traffic starts, inside. Thought is the first permission. If your mind keeps replaying what is missing, you are pointing your ship at a small harbor and wondering why large vessels never dock. Turn the mind without violence. When lack shows a picture, do not argue with it for hours. Place a better picture in front of it. See yourself paying in full, delivering good work, answering with ease, walking through the day unhurried and supplied. This is not pretending. It is choosing which window you stand at. A 10-year-old understands this. If you stare at the door marked no, you miss the door marked yes 2 steps away. After thought comes speech. Speech gives the mind a spine. If you think provision but speak panic, your words pull the cord on your own lamp. Say little and say clean. 1 sentence with weight beats 20 with worry. Speak like someone who has decided the weather. By divine law, God is my source. My lines are filled now under grace in perfect ways. Then protect that line from leaks. Snapping at bills, groaning at prices, or joking that you are cursed is how a bucket with a hole tries to hold water. You are not a bucket. You are a channel. Channels carry better when their walls are smooth. Action is the proof of what you really believe. If your mouth signs peace, but your feet sprint in circles, the body tells on the mouth. Let your steps match your decree. Send the message you keep delaying. Clear the small mess on your desk so larger order can land. Answer with dignity where you once answered with dread. Make room on your schedule for the work you say you want. People call this productivity. Heaven calls it cooperation. Order attracts order. Chaos keeps blessings circling the block with nowhere to park. Expectation is the atmosphere that holds it all. It is not loud. It is not a grin pasted over worry. Expectation feels like that quiet moment before the kettle sings. You know heat is on, so sound is coming. Wake like that. Walk like that. Check your accounts like that. Calm expectation is not laziness. It is authority at rest. Life trusts the person who is not begging it to prove itself every 5 minutes. When you expect good, you notice doors. When you notice doors, you try handles. When you try handles, you find openings others walk past. Remove the double signal that keeps many poor. They bless in the morning and cancel by noon. They decree, I always have what I need. Then they say to a friend, knowing me, something will go wrong. The law is not cruel, it is consistent. It carries the last signed order. Stop rewriting your day with fear. If a careless sentence escapes, revoke it without drama. Say, no record. I stand by my decree and keep moving. Do not dig up the seed to prove it is growing. You will kill the roots you cannot see. Treat time as part of supply. Rushing is not faith. Rushing is fear in fast shoes. Divine timing is not delay for punishment. It is preparation for fit. A door that opens too soon can crush your fingers. A payment that lands 1 day later may save you from promising what you cannot keep. Alignment lets you read these moments without panic. You stop calling every pause a disaster. You start reading pauses as arrangement. You keep your tone. When tone stays steady, people trust you. And trusted people are the first to be paid and the last to be cut. Guard your yes and your no. A muddy yes spends you. A clean no saves you. Say yes to what is inside your assignment and no to what drags your spirit into debt. Money debt, time debt, or peace debt. There is always a cost. Choose costs that compound. A small no today often protects a large provision tomorrow. This is not selfish, it is stewardship. You are responsible for the field you tend. A field grows best when the gatekeeper is awake. Notice how alignment changes your reading of signs. A closed door is not a verdict. It is a redirect. A slow week is not a curse. It is space to repair the nets. A difficult client is not proof that money hates you. It is training to price your peace. In alignment, nothing is wasted. You extract meaning without swallowing poison. You correct gently, you pivot quickly, you keep your words clean. That steadiness draws order from the edges toward your center. Keep your eye on the simple measures. If your language leaves you tight, you slipped off the line. If it leaves you clear, you are back in court with the right judge. If your actions feel frantic, pause until the breath slows and the next step comes into focus. Panic writes bad contracts. Peace signs good ones. If your expectation keeps waiting for the next crisis, feed it different food. Thank the source for what is forming. Gratitude is not a sticker you slap on top. It is an oil that lets the gears move without heat. Everything you agree with becomes part of your jurisdiction. Agree with headlines and you inherit their storms. Agree with divine order and you inherit its climate. The climate of divine order is enough. Enough wisdom for the next call. Enough strength for the next task. Enough clients for honest work. Enough money for clean obligations. This enough expands as you grow, but it always begins where you stand. You do not chase it, you cooperate with it. Hold one picture as you close this day. Imagine a straight line running through your being, mind, mouth, hands, heart, like a plumb line dropped through a building. When that line is straight, wait. Travel safely from the roof to the ground, and nothing cracks. Agreement with divine order is that line. Keep it straight with simple thoughts that honor source, simple words that carry law, simple steps that match your speech, and a quiet expectation that refuses to bow to noise. When the line is straight, the building holds, the doors swing, and provision finds you without a chase. Under grace in perfect ways. Begging cancels your decree. Sealing completes it. If you keep asking for what you already ordered, you teach your life to doubt you. By divine law, the order that stands is the last one signed with conviction. So you will speak once with weight. You will seal it, and you will walk on as if a door has already swung open. That calm posture is not performance. It is proof that you know the spring is full, even when one faucet squeaks. Sealing begins the moment you open your eyes. Before news, before emails, before you count anything, you set the day like a captain sets a course. You do not deliver a speech. You do not race your pulse. You place one clean sentence on the morning like a stamp. By divine law, God is my source. My lines are filled now under grace in perfect ways. Then you behave like someone who meant it. You brush your day into order as if a guest is coming. Clear the desk, send the message, answer with dignity. Tend to what you kept avoiding. Order makes room for arrival. Chaos makes good things circle the block. At midday, you do not check for proof every 5 minutes. Proof-seeking is just fear in a new outfit. Instead, you check your tone. If your voice gets tight, you loosen it with breath and memory. Source not equal channels. If the old habit rises, those little groans at prices, the jokes that make fun of your own supply, you close the door with a gentle sentence. No record. I stand by my decree. And you do not argue with fear. You seat it in the back and keep both hands on the wheel. Fear can talk, it cannot drive. In the evening, you do not rehearse disasters or replay old mistakes. You write a small line in your quiet ledger, just enough to train your eyes. What moved, what answered, what hint appeared, what ease returned. Maybe it was a reply that used to take a week and came in an hour. Maybe it was a discount you did not expect. Maybe it was only peace where panic used to live. You count that as movement because peace clears the lane for everything else. Gratitude is not a sticker you slap on top. It is oil in the gears. Thank the source for motion you can see and motion you cannot see yet, and sleep as if your house is under good watch. Sealing means you protect your atmosphere without becoming a lecturer. When a room worships lack, you do not submit. You step out of agreement with a calm face and a steady line. You change the subject, or you change the room, or you answer once and let silence do the rest. Words make weather. If you would not invite a storm into your kitchen, do not invite it into your head. The law respects borders. You may be kind and still keep a gate. You will meet delays. Do not call them punishment. Treat them as timing. A train that arrives 1 minute later may be a train that arrives safely. In divine timing, doors open when the hinges are ready. Your job is not to jerk the handle in anger. Your job is to keep your tone so the door finds you steady. People trust the one whose voice does not shake. Trusted people are the first to be paid and the last to be cut. That is not luck. That is alignment with order. Sealing also means you price your peace. You do not buy opportunities with panic. You do not sell your hours to every noise. You say yes to what is inside your assignment and no to what drains your field. A clean no today can protect a clean harvest tomorrow. That is not hard. That is wise. You are a steward, not a sponge. Sponges soak everything and end up heavy and sour. Stewards open and close the gates on purpose. If you slip, you do not start over like a punished child. You reset like an officer correcting a line on a form. You say, "No record? By divine law, I revoke that sentence and establish supply." Then you repeat your order once and carry on. You do not scrub the page until it tears. The law records tone, and your tone says, "I am settled." Settled carries farther than loud. Now take the whole protocol as a simple rhythm you can live inside. Morning, you sign your day with one decree and you move like it is true. Daytime, you match your steps to your sentence and keep your border clean. Night, you count the smallest evidence and thank the source for work in motion. That is all. No chanting, no bargaining, no superstition. Just law, kept with a human heart. Speak from the end result and let the result teach your body how to carry itself. If your debts were cleared, your voice would be even. If your work were booked, your emails would be kind. If money flowed steadily, you would not insult your life each time you tap a card. Practice that voice now. Practice that email now. Practice that posture at the counter, at the invoice, at the rent screen. You are not pretending. You are agreeing with a higher fact. In divine mind, there is no shortage. Shortage is a noise that passes. Provision is the ground beneath it. Let your closing words tonight be short and lawful, the way a judge ends a case without drama. By divine law, my lines of supply are filled and kept. I pay in full, on time. What leaves me for right purpose returns multiplied. Channels adjust to me. I am guided, calm, and provided for, under grace in perfect ways. Say it once like a seal pressed in warm wax. Then turn off the lights on worry. Go to sleep as someone who is already backed by heaven. In the morning, you will not start from zero. You will rise into a day that already knows your name. People will feel the safety of your tone. Doors will notice the steadiness of your step. Money will recognize a field where it can land and be well used. This is not flair. This is not hype. This is how order behaves when a human being agrees with it. You are not chasing supply down streets. You are standing where supply can find you, clear, lawful, grateful, unhurried. And when increase arrives, sometimes soft, sometimes like a flood, you will not act surprised as if you won a game. You will nod the way builders nod when a beam sits exactly where the line said it should. Of course, this is how the law moves. Of course, this is how the spring feeds the lines. You will bless what came, portion it with wisdom, pass some forward, and keep the rhythm that brought it. Then you will seal again, and you will walk on, under grace, in perfect ways, and it is done.